Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. It's your girl, Naiah Nikole. In today's video, we're going to be talking about options for parenthood for transgender individuals. So if you want to know more, if you want to know what those ways are, stick around. So let's talk about option number one. Option number one is having your own biological children. So if you're a male to female transgender, I urge you, because I regret it, to save your sperm. Save your sperm. Before you have SRS or before you start your hormone therapy, make sure that you find a sperm bank somewhere and you freeze your sperm. For me, I think that's my top biggest regret because I wish I had my biological children. If you're a female to male transgender, there's a little bit more open options for you because you can actually keep your uterus and keep your working ovaries even after your SRS surgery. Wild, I know. I mean, we've all heard about Thomas Beatty, right? I think that's how you say his name. But he actually had not one, but two children. Crazy. And this was after he already had a penis. I am urging all of you who are in the middle of transition or who haven't started your transition to think about family. Think about if that's an option that you want to have in the future, or if that's an absolute no, then forget it. Let's talk about option number two, adoption. Adoption might be something that you might want to look into if, let's say, it's already too late for you because you've already got SRS as a male to female transgender, or maybe as a F to M that you got rid of your uterus and all of that fancy stuff. Let's say you're already past that point. Well, there is adoption. Let me tell you about adoption. Adoption costs anywhere between $8,000 to $70,000. It's a very long process that can take 1 to plus years, and also is not a guarantee. So when you're in the middle of adoption, whether you're gonna adopt a baby or you're gonna go ahead and adopt an older child, it comes with a lot of stipulations. It comes with the parents being able to get the kid back, and you have to think about things like, do you want to have an open adoption? Do you want to have a closed adoption? Do you want to have a semi-open adoption? A closed adoption is when you adopt a child that you don't want them to have any contact with any of their old family members. That's a completely closed adoption. Semi-open is that they will be able to get back into contact with their parents or have a little bit of contact with them. And an open adoption is where you're gonna have an open communication line for them to be able to even have visits with their parents or whatever family members. So that's something to think about when you're adopting. Remember that it's not a for sure thing. It's also very expensive, and you actually have things to think about of whether you want that child to have a connection to, their bloodline. So let's talk about option number three, surrogacy. If you're a male to female and you actually did freeze your sperm, you can actually get a surrogate to carry your child. Then all you would need is really an egg, and you would form an embryo, and then you'd have a surrogate carry the baby, and then there you go, you have a biological child. The thing about surrogacy is that it's 100% certain. You have contracts in place that are going to be signed and reviewed by lawyers, attorneys, courts. It will be a 100% the baby is yours. It is predefined through contracts that the baby, once it's born, will be yours. Now, whether or not you've saved your sperm or your eggs, you'll be able to still use a surrogate, but you'll have to get an egg and a sperm or an embryo from somebody else. One of the great things about surrogacy is that the surrogate can't change her mind after she has the baby. She will have no biological ties to the baby, essentially, so they can't really just change their mind. There's already a pre-planned contract, so once the baby is born, it's pretty much yours. So that's kind of awesome. The downfall of surrogacy when I was doing all this research was really the price. It costs double the price of what it costs for adoption. So I looked into it, and that's really the way that I would like to go for whenever I have my baby, but we'll see. All right, so let's talk about option number four, is becoming a foster parent. If maybe you want to try out being a parent first, then fostering a child into your home is probably an option that you might want to seek. Fostering a child, what that means is you're helping a child in need to have a safe home to come and live in for whether it's one day or 5 years. You get to be able to have the experience to raise this child in the moment of need. Now, I have heard of so many different stories where foster parents actually adopt the kids that stay with them. So that might be an option where if you don't want to pay all this money through adoption, then becoming a foster parent is probably for you because you actually receive money for that child's care. Also with fostering is you don't have to really wait a long time to get a child in your home. You get a child right away after you get licensed. Just remember though, that with adoption and fostering a child, there comes a lot of responsibility when it comes down to your criminal record and keeping that record clean. So if you're planning on having a family, that's something to 100% stay in tune with. Make sure that you stay out of trouble because that could prevent you from fostering a child, adopting a child. So just think about that when you're out and about and being crazy out there. Now, if none of these other options that I've mentioned are maybe for you, or you're like, you know what, I'm just not in a financial position to be able to pay that much money to adopt or have a surrogate, or maybe I committed a crime that fostering a child is not possible for me, then maybe you should do what I did, which is to have pets. Have some pets, take care of them like babies, put them in strollers. Oh, we've all seen those dog parents. So become that. There's always opportunities for you to be a better person and to be able to help somebody else or a kid in need. So go out there and help some children, whether it's your neighbor's kids, your sister's kids, your uncle's kids. There's kids out there that could appreciate the love, could appreciate the gifts. These are all the options that I've seeked out now that I regrettably, threw away my sperm when I had my SRS. Crazy. I hate it. But now there's all these options that I actually found in planning for a family. I hope that this helped you keeping your mind in alert, and maybe some of these options you didn't even think about that were possible for you. Well, that is my conclusion for this video. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications so that way you get a little ding dong when I upload a new video. So if you've enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and see you guys next time.